Are you feeling burned down, ready to throw in the towel? While it makes sense that you have to do everything when you're just starting out, it's not healthy or sustainable long term. So you hire your first team member, hoping that they'll take some of the things off your plate. And in the first month or so, things seem to be going great, and then improvements seem to stop, and you feel even more busy and overwhelmed. You even consider going back to how things were before you made that hire. We've all been there, and it's frustrating. But why is that? Is it the new hire that's not working out? Is it you? What is it? Today, we're going to look at the 5 Ds of business work: doing, deciding, delegating, designing, and downtime. This is the second step in the integrate phase of growing and scaling your business. To get where you want to go, you first need to know where you are, and you do that by tracking how much time you spend in each of the 5 Ds. Microsoft, Walmart, Apple, Google, Amazon, and all the other prominent businesses out there took the time to do one critical task: design. All of these founders had a vision for what they wanted, so they took the time to design it, to reverse engineer the steps needed to go from ground level to where they wanted to go. My name is Jacob Curtis. I'm a CPA and Profit First professional. I started Curtis Accounting Solutions to remove the stress of doing the bookkeeping, payroll, and taxes, and provide practical business advice to help quilt shops piece together financial freedom. I'd love to hear your thoughts on today's episode, so please leave a comment and remember to like, share, and subscribe. Making that shift from doing to designing is more challenging than flipping the switch. It's more like a throttle. You build towards it. Slowly over time, you become more and more of a designer, and designing how your business operates is your job as the owner. As I said before, we all start out doing everything. You probably know what I mean by doing. You're making sure your customers are taken care of, stocking the shelves, vacuuming the floors, and making all the decisions about what inventory to buy, when the clearance sale happens, and how much to price your products and services. You're doing everything, and you're not alone. According to the SBA, the Small Business Administration, in 2021, 26 million of the 32 million small businesses in the United States did not have a single team member. That means 81% of small businesses do not have a team member. That's a lot of solo business owners. Now, the second D is deciding. This is the process of making choices and assigning tasks to team members. Most small business owners confuse deciding and delegating. If you're assigning tasks to your team, but you find yourself constantly answering their questions to get the job done, you're actually not delegating. You're deciding for them. I get it. As a business owner with a small team, it's easy to fall into this trap and end up spending all of your time answering questions instead of focusing on the bigger picture. I know it can be frustrating to feel like you're constantly going back and forth between doing the work yourself and deciding for the team, but with the right approach, you can break this cycle and create a more efficient and effective business. This brings us to the third D, delegating. In this activity, you will empower your team members and get some much needed relief from your workload. You'll assign an outcome to a team member and let them make all the important decisions to make it happen. They'll take full responsibility for achieving that outcome, and you'll be amazed at how well they can step up to the plate when given the chance. Trusting your team to make decisions can be challenging when running a business. However, letting go of control and training your team members is essential. The more competent they become, the more you can trust them and empower them, and the more responsibility you can give them. This will allow them to take ownership of their work. It's important to reward your team members for their ownership of a task and not just their efficiency. Mistakes are okay, as they provide opportunities for learning your own. After all, that's how we did it. Designing is the fourth D. It's the fun part where you get to strategize and turn your vision into reality. When you have a great team, you can focus on designing while they handle the other tasks. As a designer, you need to make calculated decisions that benefit your quilt shop. Empowering your team to take ownership of their work is vital. Delegating outcomes to your team will make your business more efficient and growth focused. The fifth D is downtime. Using downtime intentionally can make you more efficient and productive. It also eliminates feelings of guilt that come with mindlessly scrolling through social media. We all know that it's not healthy, but prioritizing planned downtime can have a positive impact on your work and well-being. For example, I schedule an hour a day for lunch when I do not work or even try to think about work. I use it to reset my mindset and to be more productive in the afternoon. To achieve your goals, whether improving your body, business, or anything else, you need to know where you're starting from and what you want to accomplish. Setting a goal of losing 100 pounds isn't a good idea if you only weigh 150 pounds. So in this step, you're going to clarify your ideal target for your business. As I just explained, there are 5 main types of work: doing the work, deciding about the work or for others, delegating the work to others, designing the work, and finally downtime, which is really resting from the work. These roles are being executed in every organization, no matter the size. Each person in your organization is doing some combination of them, forming your company's what I call D-work mix. The ideal mix for most companies is 80% doing, 2% deciding, 8% delegating, and 10% designing. Doing has a high percentage because you need to make sure your customers are happy to make a profit. To design your company to run itself, you need to master the mix. Analyzing this optimal D-work mix can be difficult, so focus on the big piece first, doing. By tracking this and targeting 80%, the other 3 Ds will often fall into place. Analyzing the optimal D-work mix can be difficult, so focus on the big piece first, doing. By tracking this and targeting 80%, the other 4 Ds will often fall into place. Spend as much of the remaining 20% of your time as possible on designing. Now you'll notice we did not give a percentage to downtime. This is because it should be a very limited time during work hours. However, if you feel you are spending too much time doing downtime things, then start tracking it and set a goal to reduce it. Track your work week by writing down the date, activity, and time. When you switch activities during the day, write down the finish time of that activity. Even if it's not actually finished, it is for right now. And then write the start time for the new activity. Repeat for the entire day and review and categorize tasks as doing, deciding, delegating, designing, or downtime at the end of the day. Add up the time for each category and divide the total time to get your D-work mix percentages. Repeat for 1 to 2 weeks during a typical work week. Avoid weird weeks. For example, if you worked 80 hours a week and the doing total was 73 hours, the deciding total time was 5 hours, the delegating time was 0 hours, and the designing time was 2 hours, and the downtime was also 0, then your percentages would be doing 91.25%, deciding would be 6.25%, delegating 0%, designing 2.5%, and downtime 0%. Analyze how much time you spend on each type. Also, do this with your team members to understand how your company spends its time. Many businesses as a whole need more balance, but start this by assessing yourself first. Most often, solo business owners spend too much time doing, limiting their growth. And even less frequently though, sometimes they spend too much time designing or daydreaming, which also limits growth. The optimal D-work mix of course works for multiple team member companies. For example, if you have 2 team members, you being one of them, the average of your individual mixes constitutes your company mix. So if your mix is 50% doing, 0% deciding, 0% delegating, and 50% designing, and the other team members' mix is 80% doing and 20% deciding, 0 delegating, and 0 designing, it's an average of each of those categories that gets you to your business mix. Now, I realize you may work 70 hours a week and your team members may work 40 hours a week, and more emphasis should be put on your percentages, but that level of detail does little to impact the actual results. So let's not get that nitty-gritty. Plus, your goal is to reduce your time way down from 80 hours, remember? In this example, the company's D-work mix is 65% doing, an average of 50% your time and 80% their time. 10% deciding is the average, 0% delegating is the average, 25% designing is the average. And so this business has a 65, 10, 0, 25. Compare that with the optimal D-work mix of 80, 2, 8, and 10%, and we can see that we need to ramp up the doing and getting things done and reduce the deciding for others. Now, no delegation is going on, and we want about 8% of that time spent empowering others to drive outcomes. And 25% of the time being spent between these two is on designing, which is vision and future thinking of the business, which is too much. It should be around 10%. You can still do this exercise with everyone in your company, even if you have a very large company with dozens, hundreds, or even thousands of employees. But do it in groups by departments and responsibilities, then average it out across the company. If your business depends on your particular skill set, you may wonder how to shift from doing to designing. It's important to note that doing, deciding, delegating are all necessary for maintaining your business, while designing elevates your business. Even if you're in a specialized and independent industry like painting, you can still be the designer of your business. 17th century German artist Sir Peter Lely systematized his art, making his company run like a well-oiled cuckoo clock. He trained other painters to help him complete his paintings and had a massive operation that allowed him to do what he did best: paint faces, leaving the rest of the portrait to his assistants. Lely jumped into the designing phase while never entirely abandoning the other stages. He sketched a variety of poses and numbered them using the same dress design and props. After finishing a subject's face, his lead artist would assign someone to use a template for the numbered pose required and paint the rest of the painting. Lely's interpretations of his clients' faces were the one thing his clients wanted most, and the rest didn't matter much. By focusing solely on painting the faces and delegating the rest, he turned out thousands of paintings over his lifetime, while his contemporaries were lucky to turn out 100. If an old school painter could do it hundreds of years ago, surely you can do it today. Finding time for design work can be tough, but don't worry, starting small is the key. Try setting aside just 1% of your time each week for designing. Scheduling 30 minutes a week can be used to really optimize your business strategies, pursue those someday ideas, and analyze what's working and what's not. By making good use of your design time, your attitude toward your business will change and you'll be able to implement new and exciting ideas and strategies. Please let me know what your D-Work mix is in the comments below, or email me at jacob@curtisaccountingsolutions.com. I look forward to hearing from you, and remember to follow me at Curtis Accounting Solutions on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and YouTube. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.